to take the hinge apart, we'll start by removing the 9 screws holding the foot to the hinge, and then the 6 hinge mount screws. So we'll remove all 9 of these, and then we'll remove the 3 of these on this side and the 3 on the opposite side. This will allow us to completely remove the hinge from the iMac and be able to work on it in an easy setting where we're not going to damage anything. At this point, we can remove the iMac off of the hinge completely with a little bit of wiggling. We can set it down and then come back and completely remove the hinge from the assembly. This allows us to do our hinge repair without damage to the iMac in any way. Now that all the hinge screws are removed, we can lift this out and remove the entire iMac assembly so that we're able to do the job. We'll also go back to the original iMac foot and we will mount that hinge, but oddly enough we're going to mount it upside down on the foot again. So we've actually inverted it and we're going to mount it back in the same place on the foot. We don't need all of our screws, we're only going to need 3 or 4 of these screws to mount it. There's no need to take the broken bolts out until we've got a couple of screws in here and we can hold the thing well. This prevents the hinge from bouncing around on us at all. We've already removed one of these on this demonstration unit just to show it previously, but it's a really simple deal once we've actually got a couple of screws in here. Now that we've got some screws in, we're going to take a pair of locking pliers, sometimes known as vice grips, and simply grab the hinge in the right spot, lock it tight. This one's probably just a touch loose. We're going to lock it tight. We'll then take our screw, remove our screw from the unit, and we'll have in place our replacement washer assembly. So at this point it's actually very simple and straightforward. Just use the hinge, bring the unit around, place our washer in place, and I'm actually going to tip this unit back a little bit so that the washer is just sitting on the surface, and you can see it's actually very easily held in place with the vice grip. I'll set my screw on top of it. Oops. I'll set my screw on top of it, place the screw in place, and run it down in so that I've got my screw in place. It's an easy resolution to run it all the way down, tighten it up, and it's all set. Once I'm done there, I can just pop the vice grip loose and that hinge is finished. I've got to repeat this process for the other side, but because the other side is not broken, I'm going to actually put the vice grip on it and tighten it up just a little bit, tighten the spring a little bit so that there's no tension on the plastic washer. You can be a little bit dangerous if the spring is allowed to have full pressure on that while you're doing the process. You can actually sling the springs across the room at the washer or the screw at great speed, and you could actually be injured with it. The last one, it's a real simple process, just a repeat of the previous step. We've got the vice grip on, we've got our tool ready to go. It's really handy if you've got a second pair of hands handy to help you with this, but it can be done by yourself. Set the washer in place, set the screw on it, and just a few seconds, it's done. It's all done. At this point, the only thing we need to do further is remount the hinge back in the iMac and screw the assembly back together. This hinge is stronger than it was when Apple made it. That stainless steel washer assembly, that bracket that we made, will never ever fail, and you have nothing further to worry about. Your unit is as strong as it can possibly be.